Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, it's a little bit different here today. I am on the free version of StreamYard. So there's no intro as far as the videos go, as far as I know. So we're back to the basics. I just can't see giving StreamYard $432 for the year. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link here and get going. Give me a couple minutes here. Set things up. And we're pinned. Anybody wants to come in and come on in? Here comes Mr. Bill in.
Did I hear you say something about StreamYard?
Yeah. I am on the free version.
Okay.
August the 7th was my due date where they wanted to hit my Visa card for $432.
Jeez, oh flip.
And
Mine's
all
still
that,
$88.
88. I don't know how you're getting that.
That's what they billed me. It's $88.
Hey Todd.
Hey Charlie, hey Bill.
Good.
How you doing, Todd?
Hot over here finally this summer.
You like that heat, don't you?
I'm not used to it. I never did get used to the heat. Well, there was no heat. I think the hottest it got was like 99.
Yeah. Hey Zach. Hey Dodd. Hey Tom. We got Sandy in here, and we got Randy. And who else we got in here? There's Mike.
Air's gonna break.
There's Jeremy out in Texas, and Dan. Now, I went ahead and unsubscribed from the thing where, it doesn't give you the intro or outro thing. I was wondering about that. And all that. It also has the duck up in the corner here. But like I say, and it
That's
also
too much. That's too much money.
Well, it also limited us to a maximum of 6. Well, I'll say 5 guests, including 6, including me, which is fine because normally we have just about that many. Very rarely do we have, the Brady Bunch, where we have all and all that kind of stuff. And so I just I can't put that kind of money out. I really can't afford it right now. I got other bills that have to be paid. Hey, Keith. And all that stuff. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
So you say it's hot. Well, it's nice and cool here for this week. We've been in the 70s the last 2 or 3 days. Well, 3 or 4 days. I think it might have gotten up to 80, 81 degrees here today. It's 70 right now. It's supposed to get up to the 90s in around Monday, I believe it is.
Yep, Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday.
Right.
I just looked. It's 104 and 13% humidity here. And it's cooling down. It was hot today. It's probably up around 106, 107.
Eight.
And then next
Hey.
week is Fair Week in Rockingham County. And the week after that, the week of the 17th, is Fair Week in Shenandoah County.
Where's Rockingham County at?
It's the next county down further south, Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chris. Hey, Luke. And there's Michael. And then Shenandoah is right there next to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they do for fairs?
Wow.
Is it a riding? Is it a carnival fair or?
They have rides and everything. They have a midway, and then they have the exhibits and cattle exhibits. A 4-H shows their animals, sells their animals.
Right. We've
Demolition derby, tractor pull. Have a live band one night.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fun.
Hey, Lynn. Hey, Rick.
Hey,
Good
Rick.
How's
So-
things? Yeah.
I have a question that's been burning my mind.
Uh-oh.
Did you get
I
any
saw a
prize?
smell. Is
you
that
checked-
the reason for all the smoke coming this way, Todd?
Yeah. That talk about smoke. There's a hell of a fire going on right now, right by my mom's house. over
Yeah,
on
I
the
see that
coast.
on the. I see
Yeah.
that on the news.
Yeah, and I
It's
don't
not-
know if she might vacation over here for a little bit. She's right on the edge of where they're calling out evacuation notices. So, yeah, it's right there in the Santa Maria Valley.
Well, let's hope it doesn't affect her.
Yeah, it has to cross a river, but the riverbed's, well, it's kind of a trickle right now, but the riverbed is, 400, 500, 600 yards wide at most spots. But we'll see. So anyway, I started thinking about this 2 weeks ago, and it dawned on me that maybe I missed a feeding opportunity. And what I mean is this. So in some colonies, not all of them, but I've noticed, and even over the last several years, I had full pollen frames. Okay. So here you have foragers that are out gathering pollen, doing their job, and they have to rely on the nectar folks to do their job. And then so they make bee bread while the nectar's coming in, the queen's laying more eggs, and everything's all nice and toasty. Well, what if you have the foragers going out for pollen, and then all of a sudden the nectar just stops? They still go out for pollen, and then now you have fewer and fewer or smaller amounts of nectar coming in, and the queen's going to slow down in laying. They're not making a lot of bee bread. So if what I'm trying to say is, if I start seeing full frames of pollen, have I missed a feeding opportunity? Let's say I see frames of pollen this time of year, and they probably had filled it up in June and July, or even just July. Well, there was still stuff for nectar-wise for them to get. So if here it is in August, and I see these frames, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have fed, not knowing that there was a dearth coming on, a mini dearth or something. What do you think? I tried to explain this the other night. It's really hard to explain typing it in. I was on the stream team, and who was it? Gary Stewart. He and I were chatting it up back and forth a little bit. But that's my thought, is that I missed a feeding opportunity.
I don't think you missed a feeding opportunity, Todd. I mean, there's always plenty of opportunity to feed them. Just, if you're concerned about it, I'd just start pouring it to them now.
Well, I know I'm not seeing it right now, but I have in the past. But what I'm saying is that I'm wondering if there was a time, it's like, the rings in the tree, it tells you how old it is. So,
Yeah.
So that pollen's sitting there not getting used. Well, why is it not getting used? Because they can't mix it with nectar.
Well, here in this area, we go through a mini dearth at the end of June, and the real dirt doesn't hit till mid-July, first part of August. That's when it really slams us in the face. But then we have that little pickup in a flow, right at the end of June, first part of July is a pickup in the flow. And yeah, they got plenty of pollen stored away, but they're getting some nectar after that. So do you have a late flow over there that they'll pick up?
Yeah. Well, yeah, typically, I mean, it's blue curl, but that's off and on. That's hit or miss because of the amount of rain we get. So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe I just noticed it in drier years. But I had one out there 2 weeks ago. I pulled out a full frame of pollen and I thought, what in the world? And I started thinking about it. So,
all right. Well, I always thought that they fed the pollen to the baby bees, but they really don't. They, actually feed. They eat the pollen in order to create roll jelly and all that.
But is it just the pollen, or are they mixing it with nectar to make bee bread? And those are the nurse bees eat that. That's the thing. I don't think they eat just dry pollen. They got to mix it with something, I think. I mean, that's what I've always thought.
Well, if they got honey in the hive, or regular nectar that they haven't dried and everything yet, they can mix it with that and still make bee bread and royal jelly.
True. But I don't. It just kind of. I started thinking about it. Maybe I'm just getting over my skis, but I'm kind of wondering if I did miss a period of time where I could have fed them. So
I know I put out a water thing at the store because we got ponds here on the farm, and I don't know of any water sources in town. So I put out, not a wash tub, but a Tupperware tub of water, like, inch or two deep, and put some rock in it and stuff for them to land on. I mean, they kind of almost drained it. So,
well, have you noticed a flow or anything here recently, Bill?
No, I think the flow is over.
Well, I just dumped 2 buckets of honey into the bottling tank, and I scrubbed. I didn't wash them out. I took a spatula and scraped everything pretty darn clean. I stuck it out here in the yard there where I had my solar wax melter that I put away today. And there was a bee there checking it out right away. But you know what? I went out there to see it, and I figured it'd be a cloud of bees, and there's no cloud of bees there. And I'm like, is there something coming in where they're not really,
Well, my bees here on the farm are getting the sunflower nectar right now.
Yeah, well,
that's almost over because the heads are starting to droop over a little bit, and the petals are starting to wilt. So I think that flow is just about over. But they packed quite a bit of it away, and I don't think they touched the lanternfly this year at all, because they had the sunflowers.
Well, you provided them, with something natural and everything, which is great.
Yeah. And now next year it's going to be buckwheat.
Well, I do the sunflowers. I don't like buckwheat.
I almost had a heart attack over them sunflowers, Charlie. I thought I planted them too early. Everybody kept saying, "Oh, you're planting them too early. You're planting them too early." Hell, I planted them beginning of May. And it was, "Oh, it's too early. It's too early. It's too early." Well, I got a hell of a crop of sunflowers, so I don't think I did.
Are you going to try to harvest them?
Yeah. I got to get my seed back out of them anyway.
Right. Nancy says lanternfly is later than September.
No, not here in Virginia. The
lanternflies are here. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit more, not that many, but a little bit more of them this year than I had last year. And I'm wondering whether there's slight honeydew coming in. I haven't been in the hives to check them to see whether or not there's anything in there.
Yeah.
and all that. But I've taken advantage of this really cool weather. Tuesday during the day, it was like 70 degrees, overcast, but I couldn't do anything until the evening. So I went ahead and my Apiguard progression, I first started out at 25 grams, and then the next week was a 90 degree week, which we didn't do anything. Then the next week I went ahead and dropped 30 grams in because it was back to 80 to 85 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. So you did get your prize, huh?
Yeah, I got it last week. I'll enjoy it too, because I love writing utensils, that's for sure. So
Yeah, but did you get a queen marker?
yeah, I got that too. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'll put them to good use.
All right. Well, something better than nothing. And I'll be sending you some honey here pretty soon.
Yeah. So I put Apiguard on a week ago Sunday, and I put 30 on. All except 2 hives. I put 35 on, and they did great. No problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'll put 35 on Sunday this week. And then that way, all I got left to put on is 30 and 35 is 65. I'll put another 35 on the 17th.
Yeah. I mean, right now, from my information that I've come by using it for the first time, if temperature ranges are between 80 and 85, 35 grams, the bees have no problem handling it whatsoever. And so what I did was this 70-degree weather kicked in. I went out there Tuesday evening about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it was, 70, 71 degrees. And I dropped 45 grams on.
Oh wow! Take advantage.
You're living on the wild side, Charlie.
No, I mean, it's under 77 degrees.
You're fine. You're fine.
It'll be fine.
I mean, there was no adverse reaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
But the last 3 or 4 days of that on there, today was the first day that finally touched 80 degrees. You know, and the rest of the days, I think yesterday was 77 degrees. The day before that was 75 degrees. And then in the morning, let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's 65 degrees here. You know, and I'm like, they haven't got a problem. Yeah. And then I went on up to my, the guy that helps me out do the honey lifting. He has 6 hives. So remember, I went out there right after the storm. Well, them bees were like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
And we got into 4 of them, and we got stung up so damn bad we had to quit. And I had I had pre-dosed them at 35 grams. And then it'd been a week or so, and this cool weather hit, and I had those other 2 hives out of the 6 that I had to dose for the first time. So they got 50 grams. And I said, these other ones over here, and it's a cool weather pattern like right now, everybody's getting 50 grams. Jeez. And all that. And might as well, And so I got a total dosage on 4 of them at 85 grams. I said, I'll come back and get them another 15 or 20 grams. I figured, an extra 5 grams is not going to hurt.
It's not going to hurt them.
Then I'll go back to the first 2 that just got treated if we get decent weather, because next week it's 90. So there's no treatment window there. But if we drop back down, I'll throw another 50 grams on those 2 hives. And
I'll say this. There's something different this year that they did. They've never done it before. I've never seen the bees do it. But when I put that 30 grams on them, it calmed them down. I was down there mowing in the bee yard the other day. And this time of year, they get a little testy. You got to put a jacket and a veil on, or a veil or something on when you mow the bee yard. I went down there without a jacket, veil. They were just as calm and collected as they could be.
Well,
You know why? You know, and I got a Lynn here is from Baltimore Beekeepers, and also I'm one of the founders of that group. We have a lady in our group, and she comes on, Dinah, Monday.
Yeah.
Comes on. She'll tell you. She'll go to her. She goes out. She's got Hive sitting on where they used to have. I think it was either a rump shed or what it was. You know, you can see the silos. You can see it. It was either a holding pen or a hog area or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's all cement. She's got her stuff on cement. She says her hives, if they get a little pissy and mean acting, first thing she does, she gets her oxalic acid. She still using wands. I was like, Dinah, get up to speed here. But she said, I like my wands. I said, fine. She'll give them a treatment of oxalic acid, and it'll calm right down because the darn mites are eating on them.
Yep.
And they're eating on them.
Yeah.
And I say that,
they're getting pestered.
Yeah, the damn mites are chewing on them, you know. It'd be like you or let's say your dog is getting bitten by the fleas.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Troy's going to be putting on the Apiguard tomorrow morning. And
so Charlie,
I'm
just getting back, well, kind of going off topic, but getting back to my question, you have any thoughts on that pollen situation?
No, I mean, here we have a lot of pollen in this state. Mm-hmm. You know, we're pollen positive and nectar poor. And
they're both poor over here.
Yeah, you just have to pull the darn pollen frames out. I mean,
and that's what I've done.
And see, that's another thing. People look at, you know, I'll be going through the hives through the summertime. You'll see me on videos. I'm pulling pollen. This darn thing here is full of pollen. Pull it out, throw it in another box over here off to the side. I keep pollen in there, but I don't need 4 or 6 frames of pollen.
No,
you know, and all that kind of thing. So it's a sort of a battle. That's another thing that I'm thinking about. You know, I do have pollen patties. This year I used them in February through March. They ate they were eating a pound a week. And I didn't see a lot of return on the pollen patties. Of course, I'll have to say I had queen issues also. So I'm wondering whether it's even worth, you know, I know I talked to some of my local older beekeepers, and you know, I don't use pollen patties because we got so much pollen coming in.
You know,
but now pollen that overwinters, they won't eat that because it's lost its food value.
Yeah.
You know, they want fresh salad coming in. So they're going to, as soon as fresh pollen comes in, the heck with that stuff stored in the frame. We're going to eat good stuff.
Yeah. See, and I in the past, I would take frames out, put them in the freezer. Then the best frames that I could find, and I'd use them for my cell builder the next year. But I don't know why it just struck me, but it did. I don't get a lot of, especially this time of year, there's not a lot of pollen, not so much where they could fill up frames of pollen. That happens in the spring here. And by the time July comes around, those solid frames they're already used up, or most of them are used up. It's just weird. Just something I thought about. To me, it just seems like, well, you know, they didn't have enough nectar to mix the pollen together. So yeah, they could use honey. I get it. But, and somebody said it, they do need water to dilute the honey.
Yeah, they do.
So, I don't know. It just kind of struck me that maybe I missed an opportunity. That's all. I was just asking.
Yeah, when it comes to water, I found it interesting where here at the mill, down behind the mill, you'd have sawdust laying on the ground. Well, then and it's kind of like a little ditch there. It's filled with sawdust, and then you'd have a rain. Well, it was kind of like, it isn't standing water. It's water that's in the sawdust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like a sponge. And you got the hives up here, you know, behind the barn, and there's a driveway that goes from the barn past another shed, past the pond, or past the sawmill.
Yeah.
And you'll get down there where that sawdust is, and there's this patch of bees on the ground, on that sawdust. And I mean, I'm talking carpet patch. You know, they're completely carpet. And if when the sun's kind of going down in the west a little bit, you get that, you can see things fly in the air better, you know, because of the way the sun's positioned. And you can sit there, bee going down, there goes a tanker down to the water hole, and here comes a tanker back up to the water hole. And I'm talking all day long, back and forth and back and forth. The tankers were rolling all day long. They were on a mission, getting water.
So if you ever tried
right across the road, there's a 1/4 acre pond.
Oh yeah.
But they ain't worried about that pond because they can't drink as freely out of that spongy sawdust.
Yeah.
And all
so,
that.
Todd, have you ever tried making up a sugar and pollen slurry and putting it on top of the frames?
No, never have. I mean, I wouldn't think it this time of year to do it because that could invite ants if they can make their way in the hive. But I'm not too worried about that right now. But no, I never thought about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I did it last year, and they went right to it, and it was like pigs bellying up to the trough for it.
Yeah.
So
now, what Charlie was saying about water this time of year, you could stand in front of some hives and look towards the pond that's on the farm, and you could see bees going back and forth. You could go halfway towards the pond, and they'll be buzzing you going both directions. But they're not gathering water to make anything, to mix it with anything. All they're doing is putting droplets throughout the hive to keep their, to keep the air conditioning going. That's all that they're doing with that water. They're not going to waste it on making bee bread or diluting honey to make bee bread. So it's just a big, huge swamp cooler is what the boxes are right now.
Well, that's another thing that I've noticed here since I've used the Apiguard. First thing I did before I put the first 25 grams on is that I put in my chloroplast boards because I have screen bottom boards. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say I was trying to get doing things in in succession, by the numbers type of thing. First thing I did was I got all my chloroplast boards. I scraped them. I washed them off with a hose just to kind of get them cleaned up.
Yeah.
And I was sliding them in. And I think that was in the evening of the first day. And then the second day is when I have shims all made up, like the one sitting up on top of that purple hive right there. It's about a 2-inch sim. Really, you only need about an inch or an inch and a half, but happen to make them because of candy, what do you call them? Sugar bricks and things like that. And so anyway, they were bearding. And then, that next day, throughout the day, they were pretty good beards. And then the next day I went through them and I put the 2-inch shim on there, put the 25 grams of Apiguard in there. And then I went back, I'm thinking the fumigant from the Apiguard is going to kind of drive them out front or anything like that. Everybody's in the house. There ain't no bearding whatsoever. And I don't know whether that 2-inch shim gave them sort of an airspace and also a congregation space up in the, I do know when I put the shim on, there was, some of them hives, they were well populated up on top as far as covering the frames. And they gave them maybe that little extra space to keep them inside. And I haven't seen any bearding since then. Even with the 45 grams I put on, of course, it's been really cool, and they haven't bearded at all and everything. So I don't know whether that's because of the 2-inch shim. Especially the ones I'm looking at when it was 80 and 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Those dosages. And then we've had, in between every time I've ever gave him Apiguard, we had 90, 95 degree weeks, weeks of days. And I'd run up there just for curiosity's sake with the tractor and look at them. And I'm like, nah, ain't no bearding. There's bees on the front porch, doing whatever they're doing, maybe fanning or something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm getting at is that, you got the folks that are solid bottom board people, and we got the screen bottom. Well, the only reason I got screen bottoms, that's what I started out with. And I'm not changing. I'm not going to swap everything out and all that. So, I could, like you say, and a lot of folks with the solid bottoms, the bees can ventilate themselves well. They don't need upper ventilation holes or nothing. Now, I do have my blocks up there that where I raise that telly cover up above that inner cover. It ain't hardly 1/8 of an inch if it's that.
Yeah.
It's between a 16th and an 1/8. It's just enough maybe to let a little bit of air movement. And that's it. And all that stuff. Let's say, hey, Matt. I was trying to keep it out here. There's Barn Hill. So that's what I've noticed here. It's been interesting. I'm really, I'm very comfortable with Apiguard now. And, yeah. Well, understanding. Yeah. Well, I wanted to know what the reactions of the bees was at this dose or that dose or whatever. So I already know I can recommend anybody to say, I can tell them from my experience, if it's between 80 and 85 degrees, go ahead. If you're going to do a 3 treatment program, 35, 35, and 30. Now you're right at 100 grams and you're done. And the bees. Yep, Mike, Minnesota Mike. I got an August cooler. That's why I dropped 45 grams on, because I wanted to get done. But we've had those 95 degree weeks in between every treatment, and it seems like I had a treatment 95 degrees the next week. I had another treatment, 80 to 85, and then I had another 95 degree week, and now I have this week. It's really cool. And I dropped the rest of it out and everybody's happy. I don't see any bearding or anything else. And it's been on there since this week, Tuesday. If I get a chance, either tomorrow afternoon or I don't know whether I might be bound hay Sunday, I want to see whether the cards are lick clean in that amount of time. I'm wondering. I did have
5 days.
Yeah, 5 or 6 days. I figure maybe 6 to 7 days, depending. Mm-hmm. Now, the last time when I put those 45 grams on, I think I had 2 hives that had a little bit of no bigger than a quarter, I'll say. And, and I'm talking maybe 1/8 of an inch, not even 1/8 of an inch deep of powder. Crystallized powder where it just kind of just like a powder is all it was. That was it. That was left on the card. You know, something that you could take your hive to, and well, it almost just fell apart. It wasn't even a cake. You wouldn't call it a cake. You know, it was that thin. And that's the only thing that was left as far as any type of residue. So, and all that. So that's where I'm at with that. So I'm real happy with that. And if I find that the papers are completely clean, I'm going to go ahead and take the shims off and close them, put them back down to normal, you know, configuration as far as the lids and everything goes. And then I'll be good until September. And then I will hit them with Formic Pro, depending on weather situations. And all that. So like I say, I'm real happy with that. I'm going to try to get, after this next week's hot spell, try to get back over to Scott's house and finish his bees up and treat for him and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll, you know, I guess I'll be starting feeding here about the middle of September sometime. Now I was watching some other folks, and I don't know, there's always a debate about this, you know, as far as going, quote, the natural way with bees. You know, do you leave the honey on so they eat that through the wintertime versus feeding them sugar water, and you don't feed them any sugar water? And I look at it financially like, well, I got $12 to $15 a pound for that honey versus 65 cents a pound for sugar, if that's what the price is today when it comes to making sugar water and all.
Well, I
Luke,
wish sugar would start going down, but I don't think it ever is.
no. Luke wants to know if you're adding anything to your sugar water, any studies supporting.
Yep.
Anything I can tell you, Luke, is I put rocket fuel in mine.
Yeah, I'm adding the super nectar to mine.
Yeah, which is rocket fuel or Apis
Yep, rocket fuel.
Apis biologic, the same stuff.
And I've been experimenting with Viagra and Beaneral. So,
right.
You say Viagra?
Viagra.
No, Viagra, dang it.
Hey, DC, you can't get Apis from Apis Biologics anymore. Because if you go on their website to order it, DC, it says sold out. So you have to, the way you get the Apis Biologics is through strong microbials. And remember, we talked about it. You do have a dealer out there for it real close to you.
Michael talks about the tea tree oil. I did that years ago. The problem with the tea tree oil is don't extract the honey.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives a little bit of a taint. I think I might have did that one time.
Yeah, a little kick to it.
Yeah, the lady wasn't too happy.
Yeah.
That had a funny taste to it. I said, really?
Probably cured a rash though.
It might have.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether
amongst other things
whether she got something, you know, where I put tea tree oil in it or not. I mean, I did that back when I was watching the Fat Bee Man. You know, and I mean, today in the last 15 years, there's a lot more scientific additives or documentation to kind of support the different additives to it.
Are you talking about the tea tree oil recipe from Fat Bee Man or the one from Bob Binney's?
No, Fat Bee Man was all about. I mean, you got to remember something. When I started, there was no answers about what are you going to do about varroa mites. They didn't know. They were grabbing at anything they could grab at to figure out what can we do. And you know, the Fat Bee Man, he's down there talking about tea tree oil and thymol and all these other different things, and then he was blowing what was it? Vegetable oil?
not, oh,
You used a damn bug sprayer. What was it? What was it?
it was,
It was vegetable, wasn't it?
no, it was something else. Mineral oil.
Mineral.
Mineral oil. Yep.
I even tried it.
I actually, to be honest with you, I had a brand new, what do you call it? The bug sprayer in the box.
Yep.
And it seemed like every time I get into something like that, I bought that. And Everclear, everybody talks about, well, that's a little illegal to buy in the state of Maryland. So I had a friend of mine get it out of Delaware. I still got it in the closet. Never did ever use it. And by that time, things were going, oh, now they got this new stuff called oxalic acid. And then he started, using the wands. And I found some guy down in Lower Georgia making wands. And
yeah,
I got a wand, and
I have one in the garage still.
It was homemade. It was a good wand. I only had about 4 to 6 hives. So, but it would take 15 minutes a hive.
Yeah.
And so it'd take a couple hours to do 4 or 5 hives. And then along came Provat, and I jumped on that right away.
Oh.
And I still got it.
The one I jumped on was Johnny O's, which was after Provat.
Provat, and Johnny O came along, and then of course LaRobbie's is here in the last 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's like I tell the story. I had this young entomologist out of Maryland, Sammy Ramsey, and he was writing his thesis out in the church parking lot. 3 months later, he becomes a doctor, Sammy Ramsey. And a couple years prior to that, we had his boss, who the laboratory is named after. And his 3 answers to everybody's questions were, I don't know, it might be that, and maybe this. And that was it. I'm serious. It was like, you have no answers for us whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then I watched Sammy over here at Central Maryland Beekeepers, and I'm like, who is this guy? And a friend of mine, Lloyd, said, you're going to like this guy. So he's telling all this stuff, and he said, this is what I'm finding, that this thing, they're not after the blood in the bee, they're after these fat bodies. And he said, I got to show the science guys about all this stuff, that the honchos. Well, they all kind of looked at him and said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're too young, and you don't know this, don't know that. So I was impressed so much. I said, he was the first guy that actually had answers. Or he might have not had something that made science backed it up yet, but his answers made sense to me. And so I remember coming out of that meeting, and here's this lady, and I think she was a high school science teacher. Must have been. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. He don't have no proof. He don't have this. He don't have that. And it was about 6 months later, he was the one that, for 30 years, they've been trying to get this thing to lay an egg in the laboratory. Nobody could do it. And I'm talking around the world. Nobody around the world could do that. He did it because he fed the bug what the bug really likes to eat, and that's fat bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did that, it set all them other old science geezers on their ears and said, I guess he does know what he's talking about. And then after that, he's been world famous. And he went over to Taiwan, and he was checking out AAA labs. They didn't know what the heck that was. And then he came, and that was when he came to our talk and everything. He hadn't really gotten real. Actually, he went over there before he became a PhD. He came over, gave a talk at our little thing, and he's saying, well, you all, you treated in September. Now, you only did one treatment a year, September, and your bees died in March, right? Yep. He says, you treated 3 months too late. And that's where he said, your bees were like cancer patients going into winter. They were already sick and they couldn't make it through till springtime for the new bees to take over. And so I come out of that meeting that night and I'm like, holy smokes, I got to completely revamp my treatment program from what because he had answers for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you should you should be treating in July, August, September, and then all that kind of stuff. And I've been, like right now, I tweaked out of Apiguard and went into Apiguard. Well, I reevaluated my treating program. Luckily this year I got at the end of August through the 1st of July, or no, at the end of July until the 1st of August, and I'm done my first treatment for the season. And then I'm going to do my normal September thing. And then I had Mite Away quick strips, didn't know much about it, didn't have this kind of internet information where we could ask, how do you put in the screen bottom board and cover it up? It did have a thing where, yes, you wanted to open up the don't have a reducer in there and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But even now, they were only talking about single brood chamber deeps and double deeps. I said, well, where are we at? I got 3 meetings. And finally, they finally kind of came on board here recently, because I think they finally recognized that we do have another combination of this kind of stuff. And then we went from Mite Away, which is a little bit more pungent than what Formic Pro is. Mm-hmm. And so I've learned how to make sure when to put on Formic Pro. I've learned how to do this Apiguard thing this year, which is like, it is easier than I think than Apiguard, because Apiguard, I got to get a fit. I always got a finishing nail about 3 inches long, stuck it through the hole, put it down in the hive, put 4 of them in there, and kind of try to spread the frames apart so they don't dig the comb out, which I hate, because it'd be beautiful brood comb and they want to dig a hole in there. And then you got to come back after 6 weeks, and then you got to find them strips, because they'll propolize those nails up pretty darn good. And then you got to yank them out of there if you can, if they're stuck really bad. And then you got to, I always recycled my nails for next year, and I had a little peanut can I kept them in. I just took the peanut can out of my toolbox. I'm done with all that and the nails and stuff. I don't have to do any of that kind of thing anymore. And then with the Apiguard, I load up the card, pre-dose the card, put your shim on and put the card in and close the hive up and walk away. Of course, I put the coroplast board in.
Yep.
And when I come back, sometimes I had pulled the card out, and then I redosed the card and put it back in. But then, like at Scott's, I would pull up the dose of, let's say, 50 grams, and where the cards are already propolized in there. And I found that what you do is, everybody's worried about the bees. I said, if you start squirting that as a line and keep going backwards and forth towards the front of the hive and keep putting the bees will move away from that stuff as you're making another line across the card, and they'll just kind of walk away from it. You don't even have to worry about moving the bees. You just start squirting and they start moving. And I guess because of the smell, and then there's something coming at them too. And that seems to work quite well. And that way you just leave the card in there.
If you leave the card in there, it's been my experience that they'll chew up that card and drag it out.
I got 1 or 2 of them hives. I think there's one out here in my yard, and there's one over in Scott's. And they're separating them. I guess it's called mylar from the cardboard part.
Yeah.
There's it's like a plastic sheet that you can, it's coming up. I'm getting this stuff out of here. And I said, well, I'm not going to replace that card. It don't matter to me. I just squirted it over on top of the mylar that wasn't pulled up. And, there's enough bees in there. If you got a huge population of bees in that hive, I think I can pretty much guarantee you 6-7 days later, that stuff is gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a weaker hive, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If you need more space than what's left of that card, you could always use a 3x5 card too. Actually, 2 of them, and that'll hold up for as long as what you need it for. What's my Viagra to syrup ratio? Well, I don't know, Mike. I haven't tried that. If you're talking Viagra, that is one tablespoon per gallon.
And Minnesota Mike says last year he laid the thymol across the center frame. Had to give it a try. I guess you just squirted it across.
I guess you could. You could do it on top of the frames, but
and then
I think if you do that, I think it dries out faster.
Luke says it's 80 cents a pound where he's at.
Man.
Yeah, I'm selling Pro Sweet cheaper than that.
Wow.
Per pound. I'm selling Pro Sweet at 73 cents a pound. And it lasts a whole lot longer than a bag of sugar.
So
what?
What'd you say, Bill? How much a pound?
73.
Okay, let me get my calculator. How much of that stuff makes a pound? What's the weight ratio?
11.88.
I mean gallon. You know what I meant.
11.88 pounds
per gallon.
Yep.
Okay. That's not that cheap out here. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I saw you had free shipping.
That's if I deliver it. And they buy a whole tote.
All right. Yeah. I'll get a couple buckets. How about that? Is that free delivery?
No.
I'll buy you a cup of coffee when you get here.
Yeah, sure. You gonna buy my fuel when I come out there?
Well, no, that's a write-off for you.
Well, I just looked on where I get my sugar. It's on sale right now. I'm going to have to call my man up. It's $29.99 for a 50-pound bag, which is 60 cents a pound.
Huh.
DC says you and him can go together and buy a tote.
Oh man, I wonder what sugar is now around here. I haven't looked lately.
But if you use the super nectar, it's 5 grams per gallon when you mix it.
Oh.
I find for me, if I'm mixing 40 gallons of sugar water, it's 1 tablespoon of rocket fuel, or a heaping tablespoon, not a real big heaping, but just it's a few extra grams more. And I'm like, okay, just kind of round it up slightly.
Yep.
And it's good. But then I'm thinking also here recently, I'm like, okay, that's the minimum. If you added, let's say, a half a teaspoon along with that, would it be beneficial to the bees?
Darren said I should.
It could be.
Luke, I go to the restaurant store. Now you have to be a member to the restaurant store. And I happen to know a friend that's a restaurant owner that can hook me up. The restaurant store is a chain as far as I know. I'm glad I looked at that because I know it's about this time every year I go up there and grab that. So, all right, Lou. Yeah, I mean, right now they're having a sale until the 16th of the month. Luke, where are you at? Aren't you in the Carolinas someplace, I think?
Isn't he out in Eastern Carolina somewhere?
I'm not sure.
Montgomery County, Maryland. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're down there.
Luke, if you buy a tote, I'll deliver it for free as long as you can get it off my truck. The most I'll deliver for free is a half a tote.
You got to buy a tote.
No, you don't have to buy a whole tote. If you buy half a tote.
Do you have to buy the tote?
Oh, yeah. But that's a minimal cost.
Yeah, I bought mine used from a guy up here close to me for $50.
Yeah. I can go get them
and
every day.
it was a food grade. It was a food grade.
All the totes I get are food grade totes.
Food grade. The problem of it is Darren and all the rest of them, when I go, let's say go to Walmart or go here or go there, I'm not buying no little 4-pound bag of sugar. I'm not buying 10-pound bags of sugar. I want a 40 or Walmart does have 20 pounds, but if
just 25-pound bags. Is
it 25-pound bags? The problem of it is, hey, I need a tote full. Oh no, we can't, it's whatever on the shelf. I did that one year. I went around, we were traveling. I did the Walmart's here. We went up to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and all the way up through there. We hit every Walmart. We'd go in. Oh, no sugar. All right, gone. Go in. All right, we got 10 bags here. And I stored, over this. This is in the summertime. Well, guess what? You had mice getting in my basement. It ate a chunk of one of the bags out. And then the darn sugar gets hard. And that's a real bear. Luke's going to stop by. He goes down 81 all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. He's only at quarter mile off the interstate, if that.
No, it's about 3/4 of a mile off the interstate.
If at the most, it's just
at the most, yeah.
At the most. Get off the intersect, make a left-hand turn, go down to the bottom of the hill at the red light, go across, and then the first place on the left-hand side.
Yep.
Easy, very easy to find.
And Pro Suite will be in the end of next week. So I'll have a tote of it at the store probably on the 18th to draw out of. So bring your bucket. If I have to supply the bucket, add $10 to it.
Yeah, because you want
just like I have to buy the bucket.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is you want a 90 millimeter bucket.
Yeah, I want the heaviest bucket you can get.
That's like Bruce was down there with about that honey bitten broken eye. I said, well, when you flip the bucket up on the bottom side, it should say 90 ml.
90 ml.
And if it ain't that,
Don't buy it.
If it says 70, 70 is flimsy and it will break. And that's what you find at Home Depot and all them kind of places like that.
Yep. Stack 6 high.
Well, that, Luke, that's the thing. If you talk to Brad up at Faith Apiaries in Manitoba, he stacks them in his honey warmer.
Yeah.
And it's the rim of the bucket that can support the most weight. So that's why he puts a piece of plywood in there that spreads that weight to the rim.
Yep.
Of the bucket.
Yep. So Lynn had a good question. She asked if Pro Sweet goes bad. No, it doesn't go bad unless you cut it. If
I've
you
had
cut it with water, it will go bad. It'll ferment in about 30 to 45 days. It will ferment. I've
got a tote of it here. I got a tote 4 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And now the first year I used a ton of it to feed the hives, but that's where I had went from sugar water in a bucket to making it batch 40-gallon batches, and I have a pump tank in my truck. Mm-hmm. Now, Pro Sweet is thick. You need a gear pump, I guess you would call it, or a honey pump, I guess you would call it, to get it to pump. If your
trash pump will pump it.
Something heavy duty to pump it.
Yeah.
A diaphragm pump that a sprayer uses will not pump it. Even my 2-to-1 sugar water, it's not quite 2-to-1, but if you get it at 2-to-1, it won't pump it, but it's just too thick.
Yeah. So Roy wants to know if Pro Sweet will freeze. Up there where he's at, yeah, it probably will freeze. And if it freezes, it crystallizes.
Yeah, I keep mine in the basement of the house.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of warm.
Yeah.
It's in that it was a 1-car garage underneath the house. And I roll it in there with a pallet jack.
Yeah.
But it won't go bad. I've had, I'm still got some left. I used probably 20 gallons of it at least so far this year.
Yeah.
And the other advantage is if you got a weak hive, let's say like mine right there, if one of them hives is weak and you put a quart of sugar water on there, they will get robbed out and killed in an hour or less.
Yep.
Because bees can smell that sugar water, and they will come in and attack that hive right now.
Yep.
You get yourself Pro Sweet, they can't smell it. I've had 2 frame mating boxes in the back of this line right here where the red truck is. Over there, that's where my mating boxes I usually set. I mean, we're talking 20, 30 feet away from the back of these big hives. Can't smell a thing. Now, I had a 2-frame mating box and I put a pint jar of sugar water on that thing. It was dead in a half an hour because they robbed it out. And that's the advantage of Pro Sweet. You can doctor a hive, as I call it, with some food without being detrimental of them getting robbed or killed by the rest of the bees in the area.
Yeah. Now you can take that Pro Sweet and put it in a feeder. The bees can't smell it, but they'll find it. Because if you put it on a top feeder or an in-frame feeder or something like that, the bees are always checking to see what's in it. And once they find out there's something in it, they'll go to it and it'll be gone.
I mean, they'll get it. It's you don't want the other hives getting the small weak hive. But I mean, it's and that Pro Sweet is, instead of being 2-to-1, it's more like 3-to-1 because it's about 12 pounds per gallon.
Yep,
is what that is.
Thick, and we feed it straight. We don't cut it. We feed it straight.
Yeah,
and we also mix the super nectar in it. as well.
I used it this year feeding my cell builder, which is cell builders right here, and 12 inches over here is a full-size 10-frame hive. And I've got a quart jar inside that. So now I put a box over top of it, of course, but they had no problems with the other hive sitting next door to it. And to give you kind of an idea, it's like when I'm putting in attendance, and I got this from Ryan Williamson down there in Virginia, is he would drizzle a line of honey across the inner cover, let's say, and the bees would belly up to the bar, as I call it, and then you can pick them up behind, you can sneak up behind them, and they got a crop full of honey, and you can put them in the queen cage, and they got honey actually to feed that queen in their gut.
Yeah.
So I had Pro Sweet, and when you turn that bottle of Pro Sweet up, you know, if it's got liquid sugar, it just drizzles out. Well, it don't do that on Pro Sweet. It turns up, and you'll see the droplets just sitting there forming. And if you get enough air, it'll kind of sort of drizzle out like honey. That's how thick it is. It'll kind of drizzle out like honey across that inner cover, and the bees will belly up to the bar. And I'm like, oh, this is I mean, that's some little simple trick like that.
Yeah.
Instead of the bees moving around and walking around and you're trying to come up behind them and grab them by the wings, well, they're all stationary right there, side by side. And you just keep picking one up, stick it in, pick one up. Oh, I'm drinking this stuff. This is great. Pick them up, stick them in that cage. And it's like, man, this, you know, it gave
and by the time they realize you got a hold of them, it's too late for them to try to do anything.
Yeah. And you just stick their head down in that cage hole. And as long as you don't watch it get, you know, for the queen to come up out of there, and they'll walk on in there, no problem at all. I might have got stung once or twice on the finger this year, but once I started doing that, I mean, picking up bees, you know, when they're bellying up to the bars, I call it, it just made it so much simpler.
Yeah.
It was a lot less stressful for me and all that. I actually went into the hive with no gloves on. You know, everybody talks about that, but I look at it this way. It depends on what time of year it is when you're in the hive, whether you definitely need to be wearing gloves.
Yep. Definitely.
And all that stuff. So that's
and it's that time of year.
Yeah, it's it definitely is. I mean, you know, it's just like if you happen to get caught out in the bee yard and it's just about dusk, you know, that's when the bees start crawling on you and they're coming up your leg, and you know, and that kind of crazy stuff. You learn and understand why. You'll watch Bob Benny and all these other commercial guys. They'll have full bee suits on.
Yeah.
You know? And then also you'll see most of them, I think, will have, they probably have I don't know what they are. They're the hip, they come up to about right below your knee, those rubber boots that are kind of like
muck boots.
I think they're like the muck boots, which I think the hunters use them, or a lot of farmers, I guess, really use them too.
Yeah,
you know, and all that, where they'll have
some of them call them dairy boots, some call them muck boots,
and they'll put their bee suit pants legs on. I've been thinking about buying a set of pants, bee suit pants. Where I don't know. Have you ever tried wearing shorts and bee suit pants?
I've tried wearing. I've worn shorts and a full suit.
I ain't gonna do that. Well, actually, I have done that getting a queen out.
Just make sure you wear long socks.
You know, they like to staple them a lot of times.
They do.
They get me that way. I do have the Velcro straps that go around your ankles. That helps, especially if you're really tearing the bees up, you know, getting into them and shaking them up and stuff like that.
And always remember, if you're in a full suit, sweat goes down your back, not up your back.
Exactly. So if something's coming up your back, it's a bee.
More than likely, yep. Yeah.
Time to leave.
I can't understand how the bees, I got my suit on, jacket, and how in the world they can sometimes infiltrate. Where in the heck did you get in at?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably around your waist. Because you move a certain way, and that if that suit doesn't move with you and it creates a fold, that's a fold.
Yeah. The
They'll
magnolia
get in
bee
there.
supply. Magnolia and bee and supply, he wears shorts and pants too.
Well, I'm going to hit it, guys. Yeah, Roy's got it right. I got to eat.
What's for dinner tonight?
Well, I don't
Or should I say supper?
A lady at work made some homemade tamales, and so I brought home some of those. So I'm just going to warm them up, but I'm hungry.
There you go.
So
Now, Lynn, that sounds interesting.
It does. I was looking at that, but I wasn't going to say it. I don't know her that well. You do. I don't.
So I'm gonna log out of here, but
All right. I might I'll see how things go here in a week or so. I might be sending you a package.
yeah, no problem. All right, you guys have a good one. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna go eat.
Yep. Good night.
Have a good weekend.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right. Doug there, he's up in Saskatchewan. He likes rubber boots.
And it makes it harder for the ticks to climb on. Yeah, that's right. It does.
How's things going with you, Doug? Haven't seen you in the chats lately. I guess you've been busy maybe pulling honey up there. I don't know what kind of a flow that you had this year. I know that last year you had a drought and you were about half a crop off. This year, it seems like Ian is having a pretty good flow coming in and all that.
Ian's gotten a lot of honey.
He's gotten a lot of flack lately.
Yeah, he has. I've seen that too.
Yeah, charging his daughter 35 cents,
Yeah.
What gets me is why he's only got, what is it, a 6 frame extractor or something like that. I thought he'd have a 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
Jeremy says he likes working with the kids. Well, I think, that's important. I mean, that's how I grew up with is lots of rain and smoke and poor flow. 2 years in a row for you. When I was growing up, of course, you have a lot of safety Sallies out there these days. And 10 years old, I was on a tractor, and that was a WD-45 with a, tricycle and all that, and using a sickle bar mower my cousin did the mowing and I did the crushing with the crusher before they came out with the hay bine.
Yep.
And I just grew up with it. And you were told, you get up before you get off, you turn the power take off and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you learn to be safe with machinery. He's got record flow out there in Texas.
Well, that's great.
So Jeremy, did Phil come out and steal some of your honey out there off of them cotton fields like he said he was going to do? So, but anyway, I grew up on the farm and that was just part of it. You did the farm, tractor work or pick rocks, all that stuff. Didn't like that much. Yeah, see, like Mike started I think I started when I was 8 or 10. Heck, there was times where Dad needed help getting hay in, and I'm talking like crushing, to We didn't
Yep.
have a crusher or whatever. Guess what? I stayed home from elementary school to
Yep.
do the farm work.
I've done that a lot.
You
Or
know,
be
and
late for school because you were. When I was a kid at 5 years old, I was cleaning horse stalls because we had quarter horses on the farm. We worked cattle off quarter horses. And then when I was 7 or 8, my dad would draw the feed wagon out with silage, and then I was responsible for feeding cattle twice a day.
yeah,
So
but
I had to take the feed wagon to the field, put the PTO on a tractor, and drive down the feed bunks and feed the cattle, and then bring it back and back it into the barn. And he would fill it that afternoon when he got home from work, and I had to go feed cattle when I got home from school.
well, when you do that kind of stuff, you learn skills. You know,
Yep.
operator skills, safety skills.
Yep.
You learn
Common sense.
common sense, and also that, you know, kids around me, they were city kids, so I got an allowance. I'm like, what's that? I don't, you know, you want money, you better work. You go out and do
You
some
gotta work for it.
You're gonna have to work for it, just like
Yep.
everybody else does,
Yep.
and all that stuff. And that's what's wrong with, I think, and today's.
And then, you know, in the summer when we were all off from school, I would, they always after me, oh, let's go play baseball. Let's go play baseball. Well, you come help me get up hay and put it in the barn, and then I'll have time to go play baseball. So I would get 15, 20 kids in the neighborhood together, and we would get the hay in, and then I had the rest of the day free.
Yeah. I just got a text from Philip. He's got a picture here. Jeremy, he just said, stealing Jeremy's honey. He's got a picture out there. He's got about 6 hives out there, so you better watch out. Donna, that's my one of my members in our club here at Susquehanna.
You're right, DC. Summer did suck, but it was fun, and we had fun doing it. You know. So I used to like get the kids from what we thought at that time was the city,
Yeah.
which was the closest town nearby was Warrenton. It was a big town,
Yeah.
and get them down there on the farm. And you'd be walking down the field picking up hay, and you see the snake in the bale and throw the bale up on the wagon to them, and they would freak out and abandon the hay wagon.
Donna there, she dusted at her father's TV store and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Glad to see you on, Donna. But
Where are you from, Donna?
she said Havre Grace over
Okay.
next to me. Next to me.
Bouchon is a local name here in Woodstock.
Well, that would be. I
That's
presume.
why I asked where she was from.
Okay. I don't know whether that. Her husband was a submariner. I do know that.
Okay. And then, we'd get kids from town. Where my dad worked was up there in town. He worked for the government, and he would get his friends there to send their kids to the farm to work. And they'd come down around butchering time, and, oh, what are you going to do with that cow? Oh, that's dinner. That's our supper.
They
What do
were.
you mean?
Her husband was from a dairy farm in Indiana.
Okay.
But yeah, it just hey, Jack and Danette.
Hey, Jack and Annette, how are you tonight? No vacation for dairy farmers. You're right about that. 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Twice a day.
Yep.
That's why I never liked dairy farming.
I hated dairy farming. I'm glad we
Well,
have beef
that's
cattle.
one thing I used to watch. And at a very young age, at 10, 12 years of age, I could always, the dairy farmers would come in and they were always the poor person with the rusted out car or truck or whatever, didn't have much nice set of wheels. And then if they came to, like, my parents might have had a Sunday afternoon get together. Well, it's 3:00. We got to get back to the farm and milk
Yeah,
cows.
gotta go milk. Yep.
So I don't
Now,
know.
there was a dairy farm next to us that, when my brother was little, he would go help on the dairy farm. And of course, I would go help on the dairy farm as well, but, it wasn't every day.
Yeah.
Because we had responsibilities of our own there on the farm that we had to take care of. And God help us if we didn't take care of it.
But anyway, it's just we got about 30 acres of hay we cut down. Donna said farming and building houses with his dad was to convince Paul to go to submarines.
Yep, I can imagine. I don't doubt it one bit.
And he was I think if I got my memory correct, he was a ship's captain in that, or not a submarine captain or whatever you want to call it. And all, but so like I say, right now we mowed. I guess it was a couple of days ago. We mowed 30 acres hay, but the sun hadn't been out. It's been overcast, and they really haven't had good heat. It's starting to get dry now, so I guess we might bale Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
And we're going to cut some extra hay down, and my son's been asked to bundleize some hay for another guy. So he said he's trying to do our hay and the other guy's hay and try to work a second field. Is like, forget it. And there's going to rain here. I think Wednesday, a possibility, 40%, something like that. So we figured, well, we might as well just get what we can get done now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't even think we're going to cut a second cut of hay. If we do, the people we got to cut the first cut, they're going to cut it, they're going to take it, and they're going to give us a receipt for the hay, or we're going to let it go to seed and bush hog it.
Mm.
Because I got hay right now I can't sell. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying hay this year around here. Everybody's got plenty.
Roy wants to know mite checks up, down, or normal for now, for all, I guess, as of right now.
I run it back normal.
I know some folks here asked me about whether I had any mite drops on the sticky boards or whatever you want to call it, chloroplast boards. I don't make them sticky. I get this all the time, Darren. Hay is what the horse eats, and straw is
what the horse poops on.
That's right. Now, hay is a grass plant.
Yep.
And straw is a grain plant. So when you see a field of wheat out there that's yellow looking in July when it's getting harvested by a combine, and the straw, which is the stalk part of that plant coming out the back end of that combine, it's bedding material. That's all it is. The plant has reached its maturity, and it's died. And what the farmer's harvesting is the seed. That was something, I was in elementary school or something. Well, we eat so many seeds. And I'm like, seeds? I've been used to hearing grain for years, and I could never. And then it finally, and I'm like, well, we eat so many pounds of seeds and so many pounds of sugar or whatever. There was some goofy over the weekend thing that nobody could figure out. And I'm used to hearing grain, not seed. And then after thinking about it, I said, well, I guess that's what grain is really the seeds of a plant and all that. And, but anyway, the straw, they combine the wheat, which is the seed, which in turn, wheat turns, you grind it into flour, and then flour's used to make bread.
Yeah.
Or anything else. And then the residue, which is the plant residue, which is the straw, you bale that up, and that's what they use to put over top of your lawns when they're seeding a lawn to keep it from drying out from the sun.
Yep.
And they use it. Well, I used to use it for horse bedding, but now everybody's switched over to sawdust. People come to me or, well, what do you do with your sawdust? I said, sell it as fast as I can make it.
Yep.
And then in the wintertime, they fight over it.
Yep.
Who's going to get the first,
Yep.
What, I might have a pickup load sitting there, and it's like, one guy gets ahead of the other guy type of thing.
Yeah.
And then they want you to save it. And I'm like, no, I don't save it. That just makes hard feelings.
And most people nowadays use straw. They blow it on grass. They blow it on yards. They blow it on the roadside to cover grass seed. Whereas hay, there's all kinds of different types of hay. You got Timothy, you got fescue, you got orchard grass, you got alfalfa. I'm sure I'm leaving the other stuff out, Charlie.
Oh, with hay, it has one thing. It has one thing in it. It has seeds in it.
It's got seeds in it. It's the entire plant and the blades of it, and it's mowed down. It's left till it dries, and then it's baled and fed back to the cattle. And it's higher in protein, higher in carbohydrates. So it's giving them nutrients through the winter, through what they would normally eat off the ground. They're eating it out of the bale.
But anyway, you don't put it on your grass seed because you don't want the weed seeds in the grass unless, whatever. And then Sarah here, she's up in New York at Burke Meta Farms, and she got the same problem we had. Everything was cold. You're a month behind. We're a month behind. Yeah. We just finished first cutting of hay just a couple weeks ago. And, well, I guess maybe a month ago. Yeah, it's been a month. And now we're doing second cutting. Now, second cutting is only, I don't think it's quite up to your knees. Certain spots might be, but other spots are maybe 8 inches, 10 inches or whatever.
Yeah, I got some of the second cut that we could do. It's up to my knees about now.
Mm-hmm.
So if he doesn't come soon to cut it, we're just going to let it go to seed and bush hog it off for the winter.
So that's where we're at. I'm having a fun time using my bale bearing. No, Michael, we didn't miss anything.
So Jack and Danette said, LOL, Darren, you just had to ask some hay farmers about hay, huh?
Yeah, Sarah, it's about the time we got done hay first cutting around July, some 28th of July, something like that. That's
no,
right.
Mike, you didn't miss anything good. Just an explanation about hay and straw.
Yeah. But no, I mean, when you can bale 1,000 square bales and not have to touch anything, it's a great day.
It is.
It's just worth it. I'll have to say that much. It's a costly machine, but it's so worth it.
Good question to ask you, hey guys, though.
Second cutting is usually less
tonnage.
Okay. I was like, what is that per acre? But with higher nutrition value and some things with third. Yeah, Sarah. I mean, second cutting is what all the horse girls want. They want that fluffy grass.
Yeah, they want that fluffy, blady grass for the horses.
That blady grass, because that old nag that they got can't eat that fresh
Can't
cut.
eat that roughage.
They can't eat the roughage anymore. They don't want to eat that.
Yeah, first cutting's good for cattle. Third cutting's good for cattle. Second cutting's good for horses.
But we sell it all to horse people. And actually, he does do round bales, and some of the junkier hay has it. He set it up for for cattle.
Yeah.
And then like this last field that we're cutting, the field that we're baling today was the last field we baled back in July. And that's the field that he sold it to the other guy, his other friend that they worked together with, where he put it in a 3-foot by 4-foot big square bale. And then I round baled it, I don't know, 29 round bales, and I had issues with the round baler. And then we were finally done. Biggest problem.
Dan, it does. The equipment nowadays is unbelievable.
Sarah, it must be heaven compared to mowing
Away
away.
1,000 or 2,000 bales a day.
Is that what you guys do, Sarah? I don't know.
I don't know. It takes 4x5 round bale. The way we do it, 1,100 pounds. It takes about 15 square bales.
Yeah.
To do that.
It kind of depends on how big your round bale is.
Yeah. So 1,100 pounds, about 15 square bales.
Yeah. Hanley, that's PJ. He's out there in Indiana. Yeah, it kind of depends on where you're at. I mean, you got a lot of rain out there too.
Yeah, that's about right. We would have made 2,200 square bales first cutting this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Hanley's said, PJ said it had a lot of rain out there. I said, no, I know you did.
Yeah.
We had a lot of rain here. Our biggest problem is trying to get it dry. And then there was humidity was always so high when you're trying to bale. It would read up high on the moisture count and all that stuff.
So do you read the Farmer's Almanac, Charlie?
Nah, my mother used to do not the Farmer's Almanac, but the Hagerstown Almanac. She used to plant by the signs.
Yeah. We
And
plant by the signs too. We still do it.
My niece wanted to do like she did, and we, a person dies and then you don't have a person to ask how to read it, the signs of the body, planting in this area of the body versus this area of the body and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So we plant grain by the Farmer's Almanac. And I planted those sunflowers this year by the almanac. And everybody swore I put them in too soon, but I didn't.
Did you plant them in the flower?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, that's the thing. People say, well, I had tomato plants and all they did was bloom. My mother would say, well, you planted them in the flower.
Yep.
You don't want to plant them in the flower. You want to plant them in the fruit or something.
Right.
I don't know. And you used to have a little guy in the book, the human body, well, if it was in the liver area, no, you don't do it there. You do it. It depends on, I forget what parts of the body kind of related to whatever it was planting.
Yeah. So see, like tomorrow night, yeah, Brian's right. It's a full moon. It's going to be a harvest moon. The harvest moon is wrong this year because it's coming too soon. The harvest moon shouldn't be out until mid-October. It's way early this year.
Why they call it the harvest moon? Because it's just a full moon or what?
Because it's one of the closest cycles to the earth, and it lights the ground up so you see at night.
Okay. Sarah does round bales. $2,000 bales a day. That's a lot of hay in one
That's a
day.
lot of hay to handle.
We can do about 1,200 a day. And all.
Yep, Dan's right. Root crop, you plant it at waning moon, and grain crop, you plant it to rising moon.
Yeah, the waning, what is it? It's like a half of a sliver of moon or something like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like waxy on, waxy off.
It's like at the bottom. It's the bottom quarter or bottom sliver of the moon. That's why you plant your root crops then, potatoes, stuff, and beets, carrots at the waning moon, and then the rising moon. It's the upper portion or the east or western side of the moon, and it's close to the earth, and it draws the crops up out of the ground. Don't know. It's
Mark's gonna talk about doing OAV tomorrow night. I guess that their moon is going to draw the gases up of the vapor.
Yeah, it's going to draw the gases up to the top of the hive.
So, Mark, are you home? Mark, we chatted. I guess it was last night. He's out in, what was it? He was out there, Oklahoma City or something like that, and they were talking about that area today on the weather, and it was 90+ degrees out there, and a great big heat wave, and he was saying it was hotter all get out there.
Yeah, Mark called me the other day. We had a nice conversation. I enjoyed that conversation, yeah. Mark. Not busy cleaning out his lunar melter. Oh man.
Yeah, well, we had what's his name? He used to come on there. He had a lunar wax melter. Uncle 60 says Walmart's got 25 pounds for $20.
That's about 75 cents a pound. I think.
Full sturgeon spoon, is that like sturgeon as in a fish or I don't know. This is weird talking about that.
That's 80 cents a pound for sugar. 25 pounds at $20. It's 80 cents a pound. So how many pounds of sugar are you putting per gallon when you mix it?
I put 20 gallons of water in and 250 pounds of sugar, which I'm 50 pounds of sugar shy of, quote, 2-to-1.
Yeah.
Mathematically.
Yeah.
But that works in my pump that I have.
Yeah.
And the bees like it just as well.
And they suck it right on down.
Suck it right on.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Nope. They could care less.
Thanks to that Sawmill surgeon, I know. It's a surgeon, like a doctor, or what?
Sturgeon is a fish.
Oh, sturgeon. Okay. ST.
Sturgeon is where they get caviar.
Okay. Whatever. I don't eat that either.
I don't either. It's too expensive for me.
Sounds yucky to me.
Fish eggs. They say it tastes pretty good.
You can have fish eggs. I'm not into that.
25-pound bag and 10 gallons.
You're making wild cucumber. What's that mean?
What's that, Mark?
See on a cucumber patch pollinating?
You're going to have to explain that one to me. Danette wants to know if you eat tapioca.
Nah, I don't think so. No, I don't. No, I don't like.
Darren, caviar tastes like lanternfly honey, they tell me.
I got some lanternfly. It ain't too bad.
No, some of it can be pretty good, but some of it has just got that really, really, really strong smoky afterbite.
Mm-hmm.
To get caviar, they have to perform surgery. Yeah, they do.
Wild cucumber grows wild in the Mississippi River Valley. Makes a lot of good honey. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
That's like I say, I put them buckets out there, and normally there's a cloud of bees out there. Nobody's on it. And there was one bee there while I was setting him out there checking it out. So he would take it back, the information back.
And they didn't bother? Did they clean the bucket out?
Nothing. There's got to be a lanternfly flow on or something, maybe.
Yeah, that's like, I set honey out there at the store, some honey buckets for them to clean up. They didn't clean them up. They didn't want
Yeah, Luke, they don't have a store down there. You want to get shot anyway if you go down there.
They have a refinery that you can pick up from, but they're going to want you to go somewhere else to get it, Luke. Will and I talked to them about 6 months ago, and they'll let you come get the inverted sugar, but it sweeps. It's not fresh. It sweeps what they sweep up off the floor.
No, I just was curious whether or not you like you say, you usually have bees buzzing you, as soon as you smell something.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Pastor Larry.
I'm gonna tell you what, I got them all excited today. I got my last run of queens in from Oliveras today, and I no sooner turned the corner to go down to going on loading dock, they were on me like you wouldn't believe. And they were just sitting there on the pallet, waiting for me to get that box of queens open, so they could get in there to them and whatever they do, feed them or whatever.
Hey, Jeremy.
They couldn't wait.
Yeah, well, you're the local. I ain't gonna say nothing.
You can tell me later.
Yeah, I don't know. All my stuff is cell builders shut down. I put a queen in there. Haven't had time to even look at it. I was talking to Mark last night. We were talking. I said, and Mark had told me about putting, attendants in the queen cages for acceptance and letting them get used to her and letting them eat the candy out and stuff like that. And I had a nuke there that was queenless. So I put attendants in a candy cage, put her in there and kind of walked away for 2 or 3 weeks. And she was probably a 5-day-old queen. So that means she's been, her maturity level is high. And I checked it here recently, and yes, there's eggs and larvae. That's as far as I went with it, and put it all back together. And I think it does. It seems that I've been noticing better that instead of me walking that virgin in, it's 1 day old. And then you got Kent Williams out there talking about, hey, oh yeah, I keep them in the bank for 6 or 7 days let them mature, take them out there in the morning, drop them in a mating box, and then he's had evidence of where they've came back in the same day and got mated and started laying eggs. So I'm not really, I think aging them, letting them mature is one thing. All that stuff. So that's where is it at? Down in October, down there in
Withville. Yeah.
do you know who's going to speak?
We got a whole list of speakers on the website.
What's the website? Put it up. Type it in or whatever.
I can't. It tried earlier to put something up and it won't let me.
What is it? I'll put it up.
Hang on. I got to pull it up myself to figure it out, to tell you.
Darren suffered from beekeepers burnout. Well, Darren, you're not the only one. At this time of year, I'm happy that honey is over with and everything's put away. And come July through August, as I call it, I'm kind of coasting where I'm not really touching the hives. I mean, I've just finished up a varroa mite treatment, which is nice. And then I'm just letting them coast where if they're, long as they got her queen right, they're, she's slowing down quite a bit and all that. Yeah, Dan, Whitville. That's where the big pencil is.
So we have speakers are Michael Bush,
Okay.
Mike Berry, Brutz English, our state apiarist Keith Tigner, Dr. Wilson, and Ryan Williamson, and Brad Simmons.
You say Mike Berry from Louisiana?
Yep, Mike Berry is from Southeast Louisiana. Michael Bush is going to be there.
What's the website?
It is virginiabeekeepers.org. And we're looking for vendors as well.
I guess that's right.
Yep, virginiabeekeepers.org. The Virginia date, let me go pull it back up.
It's the 25th and 26th.
It is 10/25, 10/26. There's hotels in the area. There are
there's your better link, everybody.
2, I see 3 hotels in the area.
Yeah, we got Michael Bush here, the lazy beekeeper. I've seen him years ago.
Yeah.
He's kind of outdated.
Yeah.
I guess. There's Michael. I like Michael. He's a good friend. Bert English, he is the head of the judging for the
yep.
The thing out there at Nobby.
Yep.
And then this is the state inspector
Eight
here.
years. Yep. Keith Tigner.
Is that the best buddy of yours?
He's one of them.
I'm thinking about the one person you don't particularly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then Dr. Wilson, he's from Virginia Tech. He puts out a lot of good papers. He's done a lot of good research on oxalic acid. And Ryan, your buddy, is going to be there.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yep.
He sent me that picture too.
Yep. And then Brad Simmons, he's from North Carolina. He's going to be there.
I think he was
He does a lot of artificial insemination and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he was at a conference somewhere that I was reading up on. He was
Yeah.
there. I don't know. Let's see. What was it? That was the one. Was that down in years ago? Down in. I don't know what it was down there at.
He did the North Carolina State show, I believe, a couple years ago.
Yeah, something like that, or down in Knoxville years ago, or something of that like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. That looks like a nice show.
It's not bad. It's not real big.
Well, I mean, big is not always. I mean, that's kind of what people have been talking about. Knobby, maybe it's getting a little bit too big.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Only 12 and a half hours for Michael to get there.
Yeah, I like that. I'll have to save that. You're going down.
I have to go down. I don't have a choice.
I don't know whether Pam would go or not, but I'd be interested in going down there at that time of year for myself.
Yeah,
Just to
we
go, like a destination, fun place to go.
could be.
Something different.
Yeah, something different. Yeah, I don't have a choice but go. I'm president of the state, so I have to go.
Yeah, I thought you were.
And October is my last hurrah. Because I'm being term limited. We have term limits on our officers.
So, Rick, are you going to Nobby or are you going to go to the Virginia one? I know Rick, I first met him down at Hive Life Festival. He was demonstrating queen rearing and things like that. That's the thing about something like that. You were so far, trying to get up close to watch what people are doing with let's say the hive body or whatever.
Yeah.
And understanding it, how you manipulate it and whatever is kind of hard in a great big crowd situation like that.
It is.
That's like I went down to Knoxville and all that. Okay, so you're going to Virginia possibly. All right, hopefully
Yeah, that's good. Hook me up when you get down there, Rick.
Yeah, look us up.
I'll be the one running around like a chicken with my head cut off. They'll be close to being pig color, Dan. So I got notified today that the Georgia State show is coming up. So I was going to send them an email, see if they're still taking vendors. I may go down there as a vendor.
Where's that located at?
I don't know where they're having it at this year. I got the notification because I registered for their honey show last year. That used to be the biggest honey show in the United States. So are you and I still going out to Tom and Melissa's in February?
Yeah, as far as if it ain't snowing.
Yeah, if it ain't snowing, I'm going. I may go even if it snows. Just wait in the back of the truck and going down the road.
Well, Rick, do they actually have Hive Life anymore?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
I know they tried here a couple of years ago and stuff like that.
And it didn't work out.
So, no, No, I like the small venues.
Yeah.
I like to go to Tom and Melissa's out there in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'd like to go out there too. I want to go out there and
Well, I think a lot of it is the fact that we know everybody,
yeah.
and we like the social aspect of it. Or at least that's what I like, is the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
And Mike's going to be at Georgia.
What's the website, Mike? Text me the website, please.
So they have Hive Life, Rick? Okay.
Tazewell. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Dan, but I can't remember the name of it. I'll ask my wife and get back to you Monday night. How about that? Rick says they still have Hive Life. It's not very well advertised. I'll say that. Brian says, go to St. Louis. It's a great time. I wonder what Tom and Melissa are going to say when we knock on their door and want to sleep on their couch.
I don't know. They had Hive Life January 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2024. I like going down to Sevierville myself.
I like that area, yeah.
You don't have the snow problems either.
Right. Hive Life and name only. Okay, that makes sense.
What is it now?
Jeremy and Lindsay from Homestead Farm say Hive Life and name only. Come here. What's the name of the Hive Valley outside of Tazewell that some think is a crater? Dan Weaver wants to know, and I don't know.
Said Tazewell, Virginia.
Yeah.
Where there's a crater?
Yeah.
There's Crater Lake.
Crater Lake, Dan? Is that what you're thinking about? Crater Lake?
That's not outside Tazewell.
Tazewell's over in the eastern side of Virginia.
No, it's in Southwest.
Southwest, okay.
It's down in Southwest. You don't know your geography.
No, I don't. Not
Yeah.
Virginia.
Michael says that join the wait list, so maybe they're full.
I'd like to go to the Georgia show, just, to go down there and hear the speakers and walk around and see the honey show. Go down there and give Michael a hard time.
It's a crater outside of Tazewell, Virginia.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's a crater.
It's not a crater.
Bring a bag full of food.
Rick says he's going to be judging down it.
Rick's going to be judging?
Yeah, he did that down there too when I was down there.
Yeah. At the Georgia show?
No, down at Hive Life.
Oh, okay.
Here it is. Burke's Garden.
Okay.
It is located, as often described, as appearing like a crater due to its bowl-like shape. It's a high mountain valley. There it is.
Okay.
Burke's Garden.
See, I told you, Dan, my wife would know. Burke's Garden, Virginia. Yep. I can store my crap in your booth. Okay, that'll work, Dan. Michael. Yep, she just showed me a picture of it, Dan.
Sometimes referred to as God's thumbprint.
Yeah, it's referred to as God's thumbprint. I don't know if you can hear her or not. Thank
Well-
you.
Yep. Marion Tazwell. Okay. Well, everyone, it's 10 o'clock and I think we're just going to go ahead and shut it down. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Looks like everything went well as far as not having an intro and an outro as far as the free version here, but I can handle that. So we will see you Monday night at Bees All Day. That's Bill's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we will be back here Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time at Sawmill Charlie's Bee Farm. So until then, we have a great week. Hopefully you get too hot and treat your bees if you need to treat or pull the honey and do some extraction. So we'll catch you all later. Thank you now. Let me see. N.